House rules.
Roxanne.
If you're not talking, mute your mic, please. Thank you all for jumping on. Such short notice again. I think the last one was fun. You know, the house is saying let's keep it light today, so we're gonna try and keep it light. But at the same time, you know, everybody got the same questions anyway. So whatever you know, like it's free flow. Whatever you got on your mind, whatever you want to discuss.
Yeah, I got a topic, man. So
Yeah, go ahead, Finbar.
I mean, yo, man. Speaking of this Chinese virus, and that's the real name. You know what I'm saying? That's the real name, and that's how people supposed to be calling it, Chinese virus. All right, cool.
China.
I agree.
So, yo, what's up with these Chinese people being down our brothers and sisters back in China, accusing them of them bringing the coronavirus to their own country? There's a massacre going on down there, you know, kicking them out from their house. They're not letting them go to the shop to buy food. They let them sleep on the street.
You see, my only issue with that is that it's not being broadcast on the national television. It's not being broadcast on TV. We don't know what's going on. We've only heard it from, you know, social media and all of those.
Yeah, but it seems like everybody's talking about it. I mean, key people today, I was listening to Hot 97.
But it is going on, Rita.
So
yeah, no, I know that is
and it brings another issue in terms of the responsibility of the media, thinking we have a free press.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's not necessarily the case.
Yeah, no, I'm not disputing that it's not going on. I know it's going on, but my only issue is that I want it to be shown on mainstream TV so people can know and the awareness can be there. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, but
because if it was white people that this was happening to, all the broadcast stations.
Don't say because you're in England.
Yeah, but you have to know, the darker you are, the bigger your problem. These people, they don't want to say anything good about us. Anything.
They don't care about black people.
Exactly. So, you know, we don't feel that whatever BBC say is the truth. They know it's going on. You know, it's up to us for us to find out exactly what's going on, because they won't tell us. We have to find out the real truth. They'll tell us, well, you know what I mean, all this, you know what I'm saying? It's a bit mad.
And if not for social media, we may never have known. And that's the issue I have as well.
I don't know what BBC at all.
No coverage.
I think that we need to remember sometimes that the media and the TV will show things that they think that people can empathize with. And because it's black bodies, nobody really cares what black people. It sounds really, really mean to say. I'm sure there are other non-black people that do care, but generally, they don't see it as public interest, because in these countries it doesn't affect the masses, so it's not their problem. Furthermore, why should the responsibility be on the Western media when leaders of those countries need to do more? They sell their people out, do not protect them. That's why this shit happens. You think a British person can go to China and those sort of stuff can happen without people screaming? And when I say a British person, I mean a British person that does not look like me. So that's what I think.
Yeah, I think
that's interesting.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything Lovely said. I think the issue with the media has to do with the fact that the international media, BBC, CNN, these guys, they have a global reach that African media houses do not have, right? And so the world is always looking at these media houses first to give certain news. It's possible that media houses like Al Jazeera might cover it, but it's not, Al Jazeera is never that global. And so folks, I mean, we're always looking towards CNN and MSNBC over here, and then in the UK, you're looking at BBC, and they're not even talking about it. So, like you said, because these are black bodies, they're not gonna focus on it. But let it be some kind of Becky that this was happening to. It's gonna be a whole different situation.
I really just struggle with, and I get that life is about, progression and moving forward, but I struggle with, personally, even being in that situation in the first place, because I wouldn't even want to be in China, because I know it's the chances of me coming across another person black, and I know life, like I said before, some life experiences being in different situations and scenarios and that, but I know Chinese people just to be racist throughout, so I wouldn't even want to be I wouldn't even want to put myself in that environment. And I feel for all the African people and people of color that are in different places of the world that are just in places where you know that you're practically alone. You know, whenever I went to Budapest a few years ago, and the black people that I saw there were just, they just didn't look like they lost their Africanism whilst they were there.
Right.
You know, and I've seen a video of a woman.
In what sense?
Like, they were just they're just working. They're just a shadow of themselves. They ain't got the vibrancy that I've got within me. Do you get what I'm saying? You can see that it's been knocked out of them through daily, just that life experience. I saw another video of a Ugandan woman in China, and she's getting kicked out of her house, and she's got 2 kids, and she's feeding them water because she can't even go to the shops because they're not going to sell her any food. So she's feeding her 2 kids. As this video's rolling, she's feeding her 2 kids water, and the kids are crying, and she's there with a mask over her face, saying, "This is my situation." It's heartbreaking, and it just makes me wonder, why do people put themselves in that situation? And again, I understand life is about moving forward in that, but it's just heartbreaking to move forward in a situation where you're kind of like, you jumped out of the frying pan into the fire.
But the thing is, the reason why they put themselves in that situation, it's for
economic reasons,
to make money. Do you see what I mean? It's for their upkeep, and just like how we're all fortunate to be in London or be in America,
right?
But then they went over there to better their life, and it's rather unfortunate that they're going through the situation that they're going through. My only concern is that Black people need to start, seeing Africa as a place where there's progression, a place where you can change if you're there, rather than us always running, to the next best thing. And it's never the next best thing. It's not.
Yeah, I think sometimes our views is influenced by our privilege, because we are privileged. A lot of these Africans who go to China are usually the ones that we saw that were doing those 2 were not from the United Kingdom or Western country. They were from Africa, where they've somehow felt that the best thing for their survival is to go there. Okay, so really and truly, in order for them to feel like they can survive in their country, then the government needs to do something.
Yeah.
Do you understand? The government needs to do something,
and
not just in regards to making sure
even in that.
But the thing is, we can't always leave it to the government to do something. We always say the government needs to do something. Ultimately, it's up to us, the ones that have had the privilege of.
Okay. 1 second, but what is it we can do as individuals then? If
as individuals, what the skills that you have learned here and gained here, you can go back and train and help, give back to your people. That's how we as individuals can start doing that. And once we as the millennials start moving over there, speaking up about these things, letting the world know that, we're Africans, we're coming to take our land. You cannot just rely on the government alone.
When I talk about the government, I'm not just talking about the government giving people in their country hope and stuff. I'm also talking about the government protecting their people, so that when they are abroad, they won't put bullshit to them in the way they won't put it to an American. That's really.
I agree with that.
That's the sort of thing I'm talking about. And it's funny when we talk about the government and them changing and stuff. It has root, isn't it? Because even the people who can even afford to go to China, they're privileged because they can afford to go to China. You've got the really, really poor people who can't even afford to do that. So,
well, not everybody in China. Some of these people are students. Some of these people...
No, they're still privileged. They're still privileged in the sense that they're
able to travel.
There is a spectrum to this privilegeness.
Hold on. Some of the people that travel, out, it takes communities to some of them contribute to get them out.
Have that community. Some people don't have that community. Some people haven't eaten since last week. There are still levels and spectrum to this thing. So therefore, it's the truth. Sammy, please explain.
Privilege is different, but okay. I'll bring somebody else in. Let somebody else. Go ahead. Okay, Faye, go on then.
My hungry cousins in Nigeria I ain't got time to go study in China.
That's what I'm saying.
So you think it's still privileged to be out of the country, yeah?
They are hungry. So they're not even thinking about trying to go further their education. I mean, to even go to China in the first place, you know, it costs a lot of money. I think part of the issue is the African government have sold their souls to the Chinese.
100%.
Right? And at the same time, the Chinese still doesn't have any iota of respect for the African government. So that's why they can try to blame a virus that originated from that country on Africans, on blacks. Guess what? Because blacks are just easy target and nobody's gonna care about them.
You see, I'll tell you something real quick, yeah? We're a bunch of pussies. The only race in the world you can fuck with and go.
Let's keep the French
black
clean.
man.
All talk, no action, innit?
The only person you can fuck with and walk away alive is a black man. I tell you that.
You've not answered why.
You know why you're not gonna fuck with a Muslim guy in the UK?
Why?
You know why the police is not gonna mess with a Muslim guy in the UK?
Why? The unity, right? The unity amongst
the unity. The unity, bro, is going down anywhere in the world. Bro, they're not gonna wait for the media. It's so rap.
And the one good reason why these people can mess out and can mess with us anytime. It's like we don't have one specific place that we can say all black people are from. We are everywhere. You know what I mean? There's some Japanese kids here that was born in America. They're American, but if they get into trouble, the Japanese government will come and save them. The same to so many of them. But with the blacks, we don't have any specific someone that will come for us. So we're the easy target.
No.
You know, unless you have a British passport or you have a French passport or you're a black man that have an American passport, then these countries will come and save you. But we, the collective people, we don't have a specific people that can save us. So that's why we're the easy target.
Uncle, we have people that can save us. We're not just coming up. Why? Because we're scared.
But that's the thing though, because that's what I was trying to say in a way. Like the path of how to get things done sometimes is not. It's like we don't have a path. Like say like what Fimble was saying. Like I don't know. Like it's similar but different. Like Asians, Chinese, whatever. They all set up in random places and affiliate with each other just because they're from the same place. They might not like each other, but that doesn't make a difference. If we're all like in one place where we're all like separate, we need to join up so to make our thing stronger where we are rather than being picked at. That's one problem we have. The lack of unity allows us to be picked off and separated, and like, you know, we'll just watch it happening and say, okay, well, it's not me, isn't it? You know, but that unity thing transpires a lot.
But this has been from generations upon generations upon generations. This is from
so it's about acting on it. It's all good talking about it.
It's called divide and conquer. They've divided us so much that is in our DNA.
It's the Bible. It's the Bible. It's our religion.
It starts off, one person can't do it. It starts off, just like how we're discussing now, we've identified the problem. So how do we as a collective become unified and move along?
Exactly. So what's the solution, innit? What's the solution?
The solution is starting small and moving up. So like organizations, like black organizations and stuff, you have to join to contribute your mindset, just to contribute towards your community. You cannot stand somewhere in the midst of white people and downgrade Africans. You have to be an advocate and shout out Africans are the best, even if we're the worst.
What would be the action from an African nation?
The action that the government needs to take is also remove the Chinese from Africa. Tell them that if they don't put a stop to it, then they will be sending the Chinese back to their country too. Do you see what I mean? And stop all business deals that have been signed. They will terminate them.
I ain't gonna do that.
That's drastic, but okay.
It is drastic.
I don't think they have the power to do that, but
why wouldn't they have the power to do that? They can do whatever they want, Charles.
like we're indebted to
That is
China.
different from saying they don't.
It's kind of too late.
Yo, it's not.
Well, hold on one
Exactly.
second. No, carry on. Make your point, Fimba.
The real civic. How do I say a real change that can come to Africa. Maybe it might not happen in our lifetime. It's the whole Africa, joining together. Like, you have China, 1 billion people, 1 leader. You have India, 1 billion people, 1 leader. Africa, about 600 million people, 52 leaders. That needs to change. If that change, maybe we'll be in the road to something. I'm coming here. They'll go to Nigeria and say, yo, they want this deal. Nigeria will say no. They'll go to Ghana and Ghana will say yeah. So they always do that. Divide us and conquer us. We did that ourselves. The only change, real change, is the whole continent to be one with 1 leader.
The idea of Pan-Africanism is dead.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Let's leave that alone.
Man, we should be optimistic, man.
I'm not.
But you're crushing dreams, man. Don't do that.
One second. I want to bring some of the people who haven't said much because I want to get everybody's contribution in here.
Just a quick one. I've got 3 points to mention. First one, probably need to discuss at some point, but we need to stop referring to Africa or African countries as, or we need to stop thinking about them in terms of we think about Western government. Whether we like it or not, I love my country, Nigeria, but Nigeria is a failed state. Nothing works. We don't need to go into stories or details or whatever.
Not even dreams, brother.
But how many of us, I'm sure we're all in the same boat. So we've got young families and all sorts. How many of us are ready to leave our comfort zone here and take our families back there and go and work and train people up?
Let's look back already.
Someone mentioned something a while back about, I think, was it the people in China and how they got there and what's going on with black people in China and how black governments have sold out. Again, it goes back to my first point. A lot of our countries in Africa are failed states. We've got no government. So wherever happens to our people outside the continent, it's not followed up the way we expect it to be. Funny enough, the people back in Africa, when they see those news, they're not moved. It's us in the West who are getting high blood pressure, who are moved with all these issues. We have to be real with ourselves.
But then the thing is, even though we're moved, what is it that we're doing? We're not doing anything. When these, let's say if something was to happen to the white people, they protest. They go around. Do you see what I mean?
Henrietta,
we sit down in our houses and then we just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and do nothing. We don't even want to go in.
That's my third point. My third point is we're divided. Yes, we are divided as black people, but we have a common ground. We're all black people, right? The problem I have with us blacks is we don't love each other. It might sound trivial, but that word love, it goes through a lot of factions. We don't love each other. Our people are being killed, Boko Haram girls, bring our girls back, this and that. No one wants to sacrifice themselves as, let me just term Nigeria. I don't know about Ghana and all those other countries. No one in Nigeria is ready to die for Nigeria. The people who are ready to die for Nigeria, you can count them on one hand. So who am I to leave my comfort zone here, leave my family in the UK and say, yes, I'm going to fight for Nigeria? When you die for Nigeria, no one is gonna look back at you and say, "Oh, let's go and take care of his family."
I need to correct an impression. I think the other guy mentioned about people being killed in China. I'm sure you must have seen the video that has gone around where some Nigerians were thrown out of their hotels and their homes.
Right.
And the Nigerian community and the ambassador over there went into action. and rebuked what the Chinese people
were doing.
And even back here in Nigeria, the Chinese ambassador here in Nigeria was summoned by the head of, I think was summoned by the head of the
foreign,
House of
yeah,
Assembly.
and I saw that. That's what I was making a point on as well. I saw that video.
Yes, and they were giving a deadline that next tomorrow, which is on Tuesday, they need to get a feedback. They need to get a feedback on what they have done to correct those things.
It's not far reaching enough.
I understand that. But
And
is it
the foreign minister was making excuses for Chinese people, saying that there was 10 Nigerians on the flight, that their intelligence told them that they had coronavirus, and that's that prompted their
maybe we're talking about different. Maybe
no, I'm talking about the same thing. I'm talking about the same thing.
No, hold on. There were videos of people being thrown out.
They gave an interview to Nigerian foreign minister just 2 days ago, and I was hearing him saying, they were asking him, can you comment on the maltreatment of Nigerians in China? And he was saying that, look, it was a misunderstanding, that from Chinese perspective.
It's the same, hold on. That's why I said this. It's the same person, because this was the same person that went to down fight some people was collecting
Reliance, sorry to cut you. Let BJ land, because I heard the same thing, and I want BJ to land before I say what I want to say.
Okay, all right. Let BJ
land, please.
Confirm that. 1 second.
Jumping into each other.
There was something that actually kicked off the Chinese reaction to the Nigerian community, and BJ was just about to say it. Right?
Exactly.
So what happened was there was a flight that went into China from Africa.
Yeah.
Right. Some of the people on the flight were reported to have COVID-19. Reported by who, I don't know. But they were reported to the Chinese government that they had COVID-19. When the second wave of COVID-19 started going around in China, the Chinese officials started blaming the Africans. They said it's the Africans that brought it in. So what we're now seeing on social media is the reprisals from the Chinese government to the African community believing that is the Nigerian whoever that brought the second wave of COVID back in.
Exactly. And the question then remains that if that is true, then why the maltreatment to other African countries? Because we're now saying, look, it's not only
why that maltreatment to Africans, period? Because they're not doing the same to Chinese all over the world.
Well, no. Well, then that makes sense. If by that logic, they're saying there's a plane full of Nigerians that have brought in a second wave, there's no way they can identify who's Nigerian and who's Ugandan.
Well, that doesn't justify their maltreatment.
I'm not saying it justifies. I'm not saying it justifies. I'm just saying it's a logical approach.
No. There's no logic in that.
It is
they
logical.
had their passports.
There's no logic. Again,
I don't think it's logical. There is no logic to that, because we could have blamed the Chinese all over the world and treated them that way.
I'm not making excuses from it. I'm just saying this is what's happened on ground. If that is what the precedent was, right? Then I'm saying yes. If the Chinese were doing that, it's not right. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I can understand it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Because if I recall, I know flights from China
it's not
in and out Nigeria has been banned for more than 2-3 weeks. So when was this flight, please? Because what I'm trying to say, the video we saw back in Nigeria was the ambassador going to the hotel and collecting the passport of Nigerians from those who are from the Chinese officials that are seized.
And that's wrong.
The Nigerian passport.
That's wrong. You cannot seize another country's
so,
passport.
Exactly. So he went there and seized and collected those passports and said you have no right to seize their passport and throw them out. So if you're telling me that there was a flight from Nigeria, I'm wondering when was this flight? As far as I know, flight has been banned from US, China, and UK for 2-3 or 1 month.
Especially in China.
So
China has closed off their doors a long time ago.
Exactly.
I don't even believe that.
So when the flight, So when did the flight
It sounds like just an excuse to justify a maltreatment that should never have happened.
Exactly.
And I don't even care if there was a flight. Even if there was a flight,
right.
There was no flight from Nigeria.
To the world. They're not being maltreated all over the world. So if I see a Chinese person now, she's running.
Who told them about these 10 people anyway?
Right. This goes back to what we
because that's easy to just say that. You like, where's the evidence?
Where's the evidence? Right. Go on, no, Kenfe.
I think this goes back to what we were saying earlier on, that,
Right.
that black folks are always used as a scapegoat, right? Forget the fly; those were all just made up. You know, they've always knew. If you listen to the experts in this pandemic, they said that if countries are not careful, there's always a second wave when the virus
exactly
in.
True.
And so it all depends on how you maintain the social distancing and whatnot. The Chinese knew that the second wave was going to come from in Wuhan. So even when they reopened Wuhan, they reopened it gradually. And then they started finding out that folks who previously tested positive tested negative. And then we're not testing positive again, right? And so the second wave was coming towards China. And guess what? They had to blame somebody, right?